The Pushkin House actually started with the Pushkin Club. Even today, the Pushkin Club forms a part of many other interesting groups that make up the program of the Pushkin House. Because it started more or less as a community of the Brits interested in the Russian culture, this is an aspect that we're still pursuing. When I joined the committee of the Pushkin Club, which was in 2010, I first started with my original profession, and that was literary translation. But obviously, when I lived in Russia, in the Soviet Union, I used to translate from English into Russian. This is not something that would particularly interest people coming to the Pushkin House. But the principles of literary translation are the same, although the task of the translator is different. And for a couple of years, I think for 2 or 3 years, I've been running a series of translators' evenings, when we had one or usually 2 people who brought their own recent translations. If it was poetry, there would be a couple of poems. If it was prose, it would be a relatively short extract. And they talked about the ways and methods that they used to render this particular piece of the Russian literature in English. And then we had a kind of a discussion where people would say, I'm not quite happy with the word you used here, or on the contrary, this is a wonderful translation because the English phrase gives exactly the meaning, the image that the Russian literature has presented. And I found this was very interesting. We had all the most interesting translators coming from different even parts of Britain, not only based in London, and we discussed these very subtle, very professional issues, and it was interesting not only for translators but also for teachers and for students, and both for the British and for the Russian. And we've had several events that tried to give an idea to those interested people in this country as to what's going on in Russia from the horse's mouth, so to speak, from the people who are involved with the human rights issues in Russia. So we're looking very much forward to the new events in the Pushkin House, and I think it's an absolutely fantastic location in the center of the city, and it attracts many interesting people, both as speakers and as listeners and viewers.